Hi guys! Okay, we've made it to our last video, and this is maybe one of the more important ones, which is how do you return to good standing. This is also probably the most complex. We've tried to think of all the different scenarios, so hang with me. Alright, so if you are in academic warning, to go to good standing, you need to successfully retake all of your courses that you failed with a passing grade. So once you've removed those one or two classes, by removal what that means is retake those same classes with a passing grade. Then those will be removed as far as failures, and you will be able to return to good standing. Now, one of the things that's important is you're only allowed to take a course twice. So if you failed the same course twice, you will be suspended, and then you have to appeal to the Student Affairs Committee to be readmitted to the College of Pharmacy. So once you've retaken your failures, you will return to good standing. And if we either change course numbers or add or drop courses between when you failed something and need to retake them, we will allow substitutions that make sense, but we won't allow substitutions between like if you have to take a Core Plus class, you can't substitute one R1 for another one. You have to take the same class again and pass it. All right, what if you're on probation? How do you move to good standing from probation? Again, you need to complete all the courses that you failed successfully, and then you need to have, once you've completed all those retakes successfully, you need to have one semester following where you have no failures. Okay, so you have to have an additional first full semester where there's been no failures. So for example, I'm going to show you some more examples later. A student who's on probation after being granted an appeal after failing 3 courses must repeat successfully the 3 courses they failed, and after all the courses are repeated successfully, they need to have an additional full semester's worth of courses where there's no failures. If you are suspended, the only course of action to stay in the College of Pharmacy as a student is to appeal to the Student Affairs Committee for consideration for being moved to probation. Otherwise, you cannot continue as a student in the College of Pharmacy. You can reapply to be admitted to the College of Pharmacy after a minimum of 1 semester. Then you can reapply. All right, I'm hoping this little flow sheet might help show the situation. So at the conclusion of each semester, first of all, there's these 3 stars that says this is the College of Pharmacy policy. It does not include the university policy. So you can also be suspended or put on probation by the university. This is unlikely unless you're in your first year of pharmacy school. Because ours will probably be more strict, but it's to make sure you know that both the university and the college standards will apply here. So at the conclusion of each semester, what you need to look at is how many accumulated failures do you have. So if you have no failures, good for you, you're in good standing. If you have 1 to 2 failures cumulatively, now if you're in your first semester, you have 1 or 2 failures after your first semester, you will go on academic warning. All right? As soon as you retake these classes successfully, you will move to good standing. Now, what if you have more than 2 failures? So let's say you had a failure in the fall, so you go on academic warning. You aren't able to retake the class, and you get another 2 failures in the spring. Then you're going to have 3 failures, which means you will go to being suspended. So if you have more than 2 failures cumulatively, or if you failed the same course twice, you will be suspended. If you are suspended, you need to apply to the Student Affairs Committee for probation status, to move to probation status. If you are granted that, you will move to probation. If you are not granted that, you will be suspended. All right, so then you move to probation, and we'll talk about what probation means. In probation, well, I'll just quickly say, once you're on probation, if you still need to clean up all your failures, once you've gotten rid of or taken care of all your failures, you need one more semester without any failures to move to good standing. So here's some examples. Your semester, your fall semester, first semester, let's say you get 1 F. Too bad. So far you have 1 failure, which means you're on academic warning at the end of that semester. So the following spring semester, you can't take any of, let's say you can't take this course over, and you fail 2 more classes. So now all of a sudden you have 3 failures, which means you're suspended. Now, if you were able to retake this class, and you pass it, and then you would have only 2 cumulative failures, you would stay on academic warning. But because you have 3, you have to move to suspension. Then in the summer, let's say you took all 3 of these classes over and you passed all of them. Now you have 0 cumulative failures because these have been remedied. But you're still on academic probation because you've got to have 1 whole semester with no failures. So you come back fall semester, your second year, you have no course failures. So you have no cumulative failures and you're in good standing. Yay for you. Now, here's a little more complex situation. So again, you fail that first semester, you fail that 1 class, so you have 1 cumulative failure, you're on warning. You add 2 more failures because you couldn't retake that class. So now you have 3 failures, you're going to be suspended. If you are successful in getting the Student Affairs Committee to grant your probation, then you can move to probation status. So the summer, let's say again, you retake these 3 classes and you pass them all. Yay you! Now you have 0 cumulative failures. However, you still need that 1 semester where you failed no classes, so you're still on probation. So if you're on probation, now you go into the fall semester, you're still on probation, you get another failure. If you fail any courses while on probation, you are immediately suspended again. So you have 1 cumulative failure and you are suspended. You will again have to apply for probation status from the Student Affairs Committee. If it is granted, then you can continue on as in probation. So spring semester, let's say you had no failures, but you still haven't remedied this failure. So you have 1 cumulative failure, you're still going to be on probation though. In the summer, when you retake that course from back here, you're going to then remedy all your failures, but you're still on probation because you need that extra semester after you have gotten rid of all your failures. So fall semester 3, no failures, yay you, you're back in good standing. So I'm hoping that this helps a little bit with thinking through what happens. If you find yourself at the end of the semester, you're on academic warning. You failed 1 or 2 courses cumulatively. You need to submit your improvement plan to SAC through the Associate Dean for Internal Affairs. You also need to submit your improvement plan to your advisor. Then you need to update and meet with your advisor at least every 2 weeks for that semester. And I would retake your failed courses if you possibly can. So at the end of that semester, after you've been on warning, if you've passed all your retakes of all your failed courses, your 1 or 2 courses, you will be back in good standing at the end of that semester. If you are unable to retake your failed courses but did not fail any additional courses, or if you failed another course but you still only have 2 cumulative failures, you would still be on academic warning. If you pass the retake of one of your 2 failed courses, but still have 1 failure from last semester, or if you pass the retakes but failed an additional course, now you still have, or courses, you still have 1 or 2 failures, but you can't have more than 2 cumulative failures. All right? Now, if at the end of the following semester you didn't take any new course, you didn't retake any of your failed courses, and you have another course that pushes you to 3 or more cumulative failures, you're going to be on suspension. If you repeated the failure, if you repeated a course that you failed and fail it again, that's going to be your second failure. You will also be suspended. If you do not comply with what SAC told you needed to do, you will also be on suspension. So if you don't do these meetings with your advisor, you will be suspended, or if you don't follow your plan as you said you would, you will be suspended and need to apply for probation status again. If you are on academic probation at the end of the semester, so at the end of the semester you're suspended, and then you move to probation, or you're still on probation from the semester before, you submit your improvement plan to SAC through the Associate Dean for Internal Affairs and your advisor. You meet with your advisor every 2 weeks. You try to retake failed courses, and you can no longer be on any faculty committees if you are on a faculty committee. At the end of that semester, if you have passed all your failures and have 1 additional semester with no failures, you can move to good standing. If you did not retake your failed courses and did not fail any additional courses, you will stay in academic probation. Or if you retook all your classes successfully, you still need another semester without any failures to move to good standing. You still will be on academic probation. If you pass the retake of some of your failed courses but still have some failures to retake, you will stay on academic probation. If you're on academic probation and you have any additional failures, you will be suspended. Or if you have a course that you had failed before and you repeated it and failed it again, a second failure of the same course, you will be suspended. Or if you're not compliant with the standards set by SAC for you to move to probation, then you will be suspended and you need to apply for SAC for probation. And obviously at the end of the semester, if you are in academic suspension, after reflection, you will appeal to the Student Affairs Committee for consideration of being moved to academic probation. If you are approved, you will move to academic probation. If you are not approved, you will stay as a suspended student. Or if you do not appeal, you will be suspended. So you will be no longer a student in the College of Pharmacy. You need to sit out at least 1 semester, and then you may reapply for admission to the college. Now that seems super complex, but I hope it helps in you thinking about how this will apply to different situations. All right, thank you. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks for your attention.